Guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello, hi, my name is Jyotsna and welcome to the end of the year series where I am wrapping up my 2023 in books. So today I'm going to be wrapping up my fictional reads of 2023 and this is my top 10 list. I have read a lot of books this year and of course if you see my data stats video you'll get more information on that, but the point being that top 10 is the holy grail of the year. Top 10 is what you need to follow. So let's start with the video. Do check out the other videos in this playlist. I have put it down below. Maybe all the other recommendations will pique your interest. All the other recommendations from the previous years will pique your interest. And let's just get right into it. So at the 10th position, we have Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. So this is the story of Carrie Soto, who kind of retires from tennis, and she's like one of the greats of tennis in 80s and 90s. And then she decides that she wants her record back, so she gets back into playing tennis because she is the greatest tennis player of all time, and not even like female tennis player. She is better than her male counterparts as well. The story kind of follows her retirement, her character development, and how there is this kind of ego with tennis players because this book actually made me also want to learn more about the game because I am not generally someone who follows sports, but I really started watching tennis after this. Especially like I really like the documentary Breakpoint on Netflix, which was a follow-up to this particular book for me. So yeah, if you're interested in tennis or if you're interested in strong female characters, this is the book for you. The book at number 9 is Erotic Stories for Punjabi Widows by Bali Kaur Jaswal. And oh my god, this is such a hilarious book. It is part thriller, part comedy, and also part breaking the stereotypes because this book is about the South Asian community at Southall in the UK. The book is set in Sikh community which actually dominates Southall, and it talks about how Nikki is kind of shuttling between places right now. Like she has not met the expectations of her parents, and she is now a bartender in a bar, and that is like a total no-no when it comes to the South Asian community because you are supposed to be a doctor or an engineer or a lawyer or like some kind of vocational pursuit in your professional career. So yeah, I mean, it talks about how she's at odds with her own community and how when a chance comes up, she starts teaching English to a group of widows and things just transpire into a whole new level from there. I had a lot of fun reading this book because of the relatability factor and the hilarious, comedy that kept running. But yeah, I think that the way the book is written is too simple. The language is not like at its best, but the plot is something that I really liked, something that really kept me engaged till the very end. The book at number 8 is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. Many of you might have already read this book by now, but I just want to reiterate how beautiful of a book is this on two friends, on gaming, and on creating games in general. So for me, when I read this book, I read it on audio, and the way the pace of the book kind of carried the entire story was really special to me. The way they explained the games was very special to me as well. And if you're especially someone in the gaming industry or really interested in games, then for sure you should read this book. This is what I generally gift to people who love games in general. If you've not read it already, please read it. Then the book at number 7 is The Greatest Bengali Stories Ever Told, translated by Arunabha Sinha. Now, this is a bunch of stories that are actually brilliant, the best of Bengali literature, I would say. And Arunabha Sinha is an amazing translator because I feel like when I read Arunabha Sinha, he is coming and telling me the story, like he is like the narrator, although I read, a physical version of this book, which is on my shelf. Yeah, it's a very heartwarming read, and if you're an Indian, it's a must read for you. There is an entire series by Aleph Book Co. of the greatest Bengali stories ever told, and there's greatest Marathi stories, Hindi stories, etc. etc. So do go check out the series, and I still feel like this is like a competitor to many other translations, many other books, and yeah, do read it. It's amazing, brilliant. The book at number 6 is actually a thriller that I absolutely enjoyed, and that's The Lincoln Lawyer by Michael Connelly. So if you are in a reading slump, if you're looking for a thrilling read, then The Lincoln Lawyer is for you. Now, there is a Netflix series by the same name, but the Netflix series covers the second book in the Lincoln Lawyer series, which is called The Brass Verdict. And yeah, but The Lincoln Lawyer is like a separate standalone book that you can read, that you can start with, and then move on from there. The Lincoln Lawyer is actually one of those books I feel that would be timeless in general, because it talks about how a defense lawyer gets entangled in something that's very diabolical and how he tries to get out of it. It's as simple as that. Now let's get to the top 5 reads. Yes, so top 5 is what I call my crown of the year, because these are the books that really move my heart. These are the books that I have given everything to get it for you right here. At number 5, we have The September House by Carissa Orlando, which I cannot believe is a debut novel. This book, I feel, is very close to what I felt when I read The Shining, because it is a psychological horror which kind of messes with your brain till the very end, right? Because I listened to the audiobook, and the audiobook is so well done. It kind of questions your sanity, the sanity of the protagonist, in this case, who's an old woman living in a haunted house. And you're just flipping between two possibilities, thinking whether, oh, is this the way it's done, or is that the way it's done? So if you are a Stephen King fan, or if you love horror in general, please do read this book. For horror fans, this is the best book out there, released in 2023, I think, because yeah, it is a book from 2023 itself. Yes. And the book at number 4 is my favorite, Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver, which won the Women's Prize in 2023. I was absolutely rooting for this book to win the Women's Prize. I'm telling you, I love the Women's Prize in general. And yeah, although we kind of broke up in 2022, but in 2023, we've patched up and I loved it. This is the book I really wanted to win. It basically talks about our protagonist, who's actually called Demon Copperhead. His name is Damon, and he has like, auburn hair. So it's Demon Copperhead. And it talks about the drug addiction in the Appalachian region of the US, and how this guy, through poverty, he grows up, and what actually becomes of him. It is a very heartwarming read when you think about it, because it talks about a lot of things that a child should not see. It talks about a lot of things that we need to be wary of when it comes to drugs and the opioid crisis. And having read Patrick Raddenkeefe and his book on the opioid crisis, I really felt like this book really hit me hard, because it is a difficult thing. And when Barbara Kingsolver accepted her award, in her keynote speech, she had clearly said that, listen, like, this is the story of my people, and I wanted to say it, and that's the reason why you should read it. But you know what? This was supposed to be my best book of 2023. I had already decided that Demon Copperhead would be number 1. But there are books better than Demon Copperhead for me, in my opinion, in this list. And hence, we are just getting to the top 3. Let's look at the top 3. The third book for me in this list is Black Butterflies. Again, another debut novel. There are a lot of debut authors in this particular list. And telling you, I am really like warmed up in general by these brilliant authors getting their talent to the forefront so that we can read them. Black Butterflies is set in Sarajevo in the 90s during the Bosnian genocide, and it talks about our protagonist who is kind of stuck in Sarajevo during the war. It is a heartbreaking book, because it talks about what people have to do in war zones, and it kind of makes you realize things that are happening in maybe Israel or Gaza, how it can be related to this, or how things are happening in Russia or Ukraine can be related to this. And it is something that will get the hair at the back of your neck stand up, because it did that for me. Highly recommend this book. Please do read it if you're interested to read books on war. Then we get to book number 2, and book number 2 is a surprise, because I did not like Shaggy Bane, but I loved Young Mungo. Young Mungo is the story of Mungo, who is kind of 15 now, and he has gone on a trip with two of his mother's acquaintances, and it keeps going back and forth between the trip and his past, and his multiple adventures in general. And it talks about how there is a lot of neglect because his mother is an alcoholic. So what I really loved about this book is, one, the editing, because to switch to a trip and then back to a memory and then to the trip, like the present and the past, I think that has been done brilliantly in this book. Number two, how well crisp the book is, because my problem with Shuggy Bane was that it was not well edited, but this one is really well edited. It's crisp, to the point, makes you weep, makes you feel like what the f, and it also makes you feel like, oh my god, like what all shit is happening, literally. So lovely book, do read it. I highly recommend it, because you know what, young Mungo, close to my heart, 100%. And then we get to book number one, and that has to be my new favorite author of 2023, Barbara Kingsolver's The Poisonwood Bible. Now, if you thought Demon Copperhead is her best work, no, it's this. This is her best work, although I've not read her other works. But this book is about a Christian missionary family that moves to the Congo and tries to get some culture into the people of Congo. And it basically talks about the 5 sisters who are forced to move to this new land by their father, because it's a very patriarchal family. And it is a story of this family who encounters a lot of weird things in Congo which they think are weird, and also their tryst with racism. This book is kind of a slow burn, so if you're getting into it, just know that you will be taking your time with it. It moves slow, but at the end of it, the way it hits you, like it hits you like this, and that's exactly why I'm putting this at number one. With the other books in this list, they will hit you while you're reading it, but this one has the biggest impact at the very end, and it's a proper, pure, slow burn read. And of course, coming to my special recommendation, every year I have some special recommendation outside of the top 10 books. Of course, special recommendation is as good as the top 10, because I don't want to call things top 11. But my this year's special recommendation is Wandering Souls by Cecile Pin, which was longlisted for the Women's Prize, and that's how I ended up reading it. And also, it is her debut novel. So it's surprising that this is a debut novel of an author who's only written blogs so far, and it is actually a very well woven story. Basically, a bunch of Vietnamese people in the 80s arrived on boats on the shores of UK, and how they became immigrants and stuff like that. So this is the story of one such immigrant family, and it has tragedy as well. What really warmed my heart is this is kind of the true story for the author's mother. So the author is a part British, part Vietnamese, and her mother was a boat person, and this story is kind of her story written in a fictional format. So yeah, very interesting read if you are interested in books about immigration, family, generational stories in general. Then this is the book for you. So that's it for my top 10 books of this particular year. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you like my recommendations, please do subscribe to the channel. It helps me, it supports me in creating more videos on this channel. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.